Hi. So this could be a really long video, so I do apologize. Basic reason being, I left going to my comic shop to pick up my regular pull order each week for 3 weeks. So, excluding 2000 ADs and Judge Dredd magazines, this is my pile, my mountain of comics. Um, I'm going to do a separate video for this one, heavy metal, because this is extremely special for me. I've waited years for this to come back out again in the classic meaty format that I used to love as a teenager. I'm just going to put a side note. This is why I never got into things like Secret Wars, because when Secret Wars came out, I was reading stuff like heavy metal, Epic Illustrated, and other stuff that was far too old for me at the time. This was just speaking to me much more, and I got really into underground comics at the time. I kind of like went reverse. It's like Benjamin Button with my comics. I got into comics that are far too old for me at a very young age, and I'm kind of pleased that I did. But yes, I'm going to do a special video looking through this. So let's start. We'll start with another magazine. This is issue 8 of Savage Sword of Conan, which is now a bi-monthly ongoing. Yes, it's wonderful. Again, this brings back so much nostalgia. It's got that good newsprint smell. It's that pleasure you get when you get black marks on your fingers after reading it. So this one is much more of a selection of short stories than normal. Normally the main story is about 30 or 40 pages, but this time it's quite a short one. It's about, just look at this cover art, this interior art first, so on the Joe Just Go cover. And then you've got this wonderful interior piece by Doug Braithwaite, who's doing wonderful stuff on the colour comic. Sorry, it's very humid today. So then you've got the main story, which is Conan, Treasure of the Vermin Queen, written by Dennis Cover and art by Chris Burnham. Now those two were the creative team on the Unstoppable Doom Patrol, and I didn't think Chris Burnham would work well as the artist for a Conan story, but he proved me wrong. Really, really nice, gorgeous artwork. It's a fun, classic hack and slash Conan story. Really, really nice. I really enjoyed this. This page especially is just gorgeous. And then there's a series of I've just got to show this as well. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely gorgeous picture there. And then you've got your letters page. And then almost like a reflection story about Conan. This one was okay. It didn't really appeal to me that much. By Fred Kennedy and Marco Rudy. Nice arts, but I'm just not that keen on that kind of storytelling format. Gorgeous cover here, picture here by Gabriel Rodriguez. And then there's a little one-page poem with gorgeous art. So the poem's by Jim Zub, art by Dan Panosian, who I'd love to do a full Conan miniseries or something like that. Then a really fun one, Combat Fitz Jeffrey, Live by the Sword by Zach Davison, gorgeous art by Max von Fafner. Really, really nice. I like how they're delving into a lot of Robert E. Howard's canon, not just the Conan and Solomon Kane stories. So this is pleasingly geeking me, because when I was a young teen, I was a die-hard Robert E. Howard fan, and I had loads of different books by him. And then really nice illustration by Jonathan Wayshak. And then to round it off, there's a gorgeous story by Liam Sharp, who's basically like the natural successor to Barry Windsor-Smith for Conan. Again, before we do that, there's a gorgeous picture by Tom Rainey. Again, I would love for Liam Sharp to be given creative reign to do a Conan expanded tale. Just beautiful, beautiful. Like I said, it's quite possibly one of the nicest ones I've seen in many a year for Conan. So yeah, the quality is still very good. I'll give it. It wasn't as satisfactory a read as previous issues, so I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. but the magazine as a whole is still a fantastic value for money and fantastic read. So I highly recommend you check it out. Now, I'm not sure if my batteries are going to last on my phone. We shall see. It's flashing a funny colour then for recording. Sorry about that. So, keeping on with the Titan Conan universe, we've got Solomon Kane, book 2 by Patch Zerka, The Serpent Ring, with this gorgeous cover by Ivan Gill. Checking that on. This Patch Zerka has really gone up in my estimation. He does the line work, he does the colouring, but more importantly as well, he does the writing. And for an artist turned writer, he's a league above a lot of others who've tried to do it recently. Say, for example, Satana by Jamal Campbell. This is far more satisfactory. This has got a maturity in the writing style. You can tell he's got a deep love for this character. It progresses the story nicely. There's a really good twist about a certain spiritual leader in this. And it's just a very satisfactory read. It's $4.99, but there's no waste. It's all tied in, so you get a full comic. It's not like a 20-page one from Marvel. High quality, good quality paper, gorgeous colouring, gorgeous art, really good story. I adore this comic. It's a shame it's just going to be 4 issues. Maybe they'll do like a series of minis. Because if it means that Patch Circle stay on it, doing other series of it, I'm all for there being just a series of miniseries. But you're very satisfactory. 9 out of 10. Just a wonderful comic. Talk about wonderful comics. Now, Bad Idea, they've always not really been readily available in England. But now they've signed a deal where they're getting distribution across all the English comic shops, which is good news because they brought out a new zero issue for $1.99. It's all on newsprint, but the colouring is amazing. It still pops. It's written by Derek Kolstad, who I think does film normally. I think he's like been involved in like John Wick. And written by Robert Vendetti, art by Thomas Giurello, colours by Dave Stewart. It's a class act. $1.99, but it's 19 pages of story, so that's like buying a normal Marvel comic. It's warfare in space. The closest I can give it to for a comic would be Rogue Trooper meets Gundam meets Heavy Metal. It's just great. It's a really, really satisfactory read. 9 out of 10. Highly recommend picking up. It's readily available to order. And in July, they're doing a 4-issue spin-off miniseries in prestige format in this universe. So I've put my name down to have that on my pull list. And yeah, really satisfactory. Very, very enjoyable. As I said, the art is just absolutely beautiful. And Vendetti is a solid writer. You can't go wrong. It costs nothing, basically. Yeah, 9 out of 10. Really wonderful. And this made my day. I don't know how my comic shop managed to do it, but they've done a small miracle for me. The comic I was singing praise of for many a month whenever it came out, and then suddenly it stops coming out in the UK because Mad Cave aren't being distributed with the whole fuck up with Diamond. They're just not being distributed in the UK, but somehow my comic shop cost me a few penny more than it normally would, just because where they had to get it from. I've got Dick Tracy number 8. Oh, it reminded me how much I love this comic. This is crime noir of the highest caliber. It's wonderful. The writing team of Segura Moretti is fantastic. The artwork by Geraldo Borges is so fitting for the story. It's got a very nice pulp sensibility, good use of light and shade, and it gives you the reveal of who the blank is. I kind of suspected, but I didn't. I don't want to be one of those people who pretends that they knew. I have my suspicions, but I had suspicions about 3 characters. So that's good. I love a good whodunit as well. I'm a big mystery fan. So yeah, very satisfactory. 9 out of 10. So glad I was able to get that. So hopefully I might get the next one if they manage to keep doing that for me. And then from Oni slash EC, we have Epitaphs from the Abyss, number 10. I'm not familiar with a lot of these people, apart from the writer Kurt Pyers. But the other writers are Jeremy Lambert and Jeff Jensen. Artists are Valeria Berzo, Brian Level, and Sammy Kilvara. This cover's great by Derek Robertson. Love the cover. I'm gonna say I don't like. I normally give good praise for this, even if there's one weak story. But I found like all the stories in this issue were very very weak. It was that week I couldn't remember what the first story was that I read. Literally after finish reading the comic, and it took me a few minutes to remember. Oh, okay. So if it doesn't leave that impression, it's not doing its job. So out of all the Oni EC comics, this has been the weakest one I've ever read. It's a blip. It's an anthology. It's a blip, but I would give it a 5 out of 10. But I'm going to carry on. I'm on issue 10, so there's 2 more issues I think to go. But yeah, very disappointed because normally the quality is higher than that. It just felt very rushed, very unnecessary. The story is very throwaway. I mean, you could say that about any comic, but yeah, it just didn't feel up to its normal high standards. So, and talking about that, this is a comic series that's being trumped by a lot of people, like shows like Pop Culture Philosophers, etc. Um, I I don't know if some writers become like the current celebrity in comic writers, and it's like whatever they write, people. It's like the Emperor's New Clothes, and people won't critique it. They won't say anything bad about it. Jonathan Hickman is like that for a lot of people, where they just won't. Even if it's writing stuff that's boring as shit, people won't say it's boring as shit. It's like they can't see because they're so glossed over with love for the person of Jonathan Hickman that they can't see if he does something crap. And I think it's the same for Dennis Covert. I love the Ultimates. I think it's really good. I don't like how it jumps from month to month, so it feels like disjointed. But the writing's very good. As you'll come to know later on, I adore Absolute Martian Manhunter. Love it. One of my favorite comics of the year. But then we come to Assorted Crisis Events. The art by um, Eric Sawditsky and Jordi Belair on colours is gorgeous. Beautiful, beautiful colours. Beautiful, beautiful artwork. But oh my god, this took me an hour to finish. I had to keep on putting it down. I just did not enjoy it. It was like a monotone, depressive rant where there's no light at the end of the tunnel. It started off depressed and finished up morbidly depressed. I read comics for enjoyment. Even comics like Paranoid Gardens or The Invisibles, yeah, they're out there, they're fucking weird. But the writing has something to draw me in. It's fun, it's an experience. This was an experience, all right, but it's like the film. Um, it reminds me of a lot of Darrenofsky's films and the one who did Hereditary, where people sing the praise saying how wonderful they are. But for me, it feels like something that you watch if you want to end yourself. The thing, it's just exercise in depression, and that's not my bag. I like comics that are well written. I guess it's well written, but it just feels like it's just throwing down emotions. Like it feels like Dennis Cove's trying to do some kind of grief counselling in the pages. I don't know, but don't ask me what it's about. I haven't got a fucking clue. Like I said, this took so long to read. I had 3 cups of coffee in the process of reading this. I kept on watching a film while I was reading it because it was just a slog. I needed something to get my brain going. I hate it. I hated this comic. Artwork 9 out of 10. Story 4 out of 10. Experience 0 out of 10. This is where my journey with Assorted Crisis Events finishes. I know this is like one of the most popular comics at the moment, but I'm not here to be popular. I'm not here to follow the crowd. I'm here to give honest opinions about stuff I like, and I did not like this. It had everything in it I should like, apart from the story. So I'm sorry, but it means I can get more new titles if I stop a comic I don't enjoy. But back after a hiatus on one I really do adore is Phantom Road by Jeff Lemire and Gabrielle Walter, and colours again by Jodie Blair. I love Jodie Blair as colorist. She's so experimental. She can change the style in every format. I know some people prefer her doing some kind of colouring to others, but I love everything that she does. So this is set quite about 20 odd years before the last story arc what we had, and it delves into the mystery of I think it was the FBI agent, her dad, who was an FBI agent, and this mysterious guy who appeared in the last story arc, and it gives some backbone and some muscle to the lore of this universe, which is Phantom Road, and it is X Files as directed by David Lynch. It's weird as shit, and it's all the best for it. And this was weird, but it doesn't really show anything weird. It's the atmosphere it creates, it's the dialogue, it's the things you don't see on the page. It gets your mind working overtime. So almost Hitchcockian in a way. I know I'm giving a lot of film references, but that's the vibe I get from it. I can't really compare it to any other comic. I'm loving what Jeff Lemire is doing in here. I know people were singing the praise of the stuff he did with Andrea Sorrentino, but for me, a lot of that was just incomprehensible meanderings without really a conclusion. It was like they're just throwing ideas down, whereas this has got a solid idea, a solid plot, and a fascinating mystery. Yeah, 9 out of 10. Highly recommend you get the collections if you've not been buying this. Really, really good comic. Talk about good comics. I'm trying to get converts left, right, and centre. I made a convert of Geeky Hog, whose channel you need to check out, and with this comic, Feral. This is issue 12. I love this cover. It's just great. This is kind of like a pause, but I was going to say it's a pause, but it's not in a way because it introduces two new characters who are wonderful. This dog, he's just great, and it helped the dog. It's got really good conversation in it, which is crazy. Cause talk about cats having conversations, but it's just it cements each cat's personality, and you develop favourites, even other cats. This is Disney for adults, by way of Walking Dead. It's wonderful. The artwork is delight. Don Bluth would be proud of this art. He really would. Um, there's they've upped the menace. There's scenes in it where it's just sheer menace, but then it gives you a breather. And this one is like built-in chapters. This story in this issue, whereas some of the story issues have just been one continuous plot device, which has propelled you through the comic. This one jumps from character to character in different areas of the story, and it's good. It's good. This is what it needed. I think it needed to take a bit of a step back, um, and just to beef up some of the characters' personalities, some of the characters' backgrounds as well, and to give you a chance to get to know and love the new characters, which I do. They're fantastic. I adore this comic. It's a solid 10. I'm not going to beat about the bush. It is a solid 10. It's one comic. I know it's always at the top of the pile to read when I get it. It's generous. Maybe if I keep on pushing it out this much, I might get a little thing on her. I know Geeky Hog's trying to find it, but fuck off, Geeky Hog. I was reading this before you. I deserve a blurb on this. This is a must read. This was definitely a cover by, but I am familiar with the writer Kurt Pyers, and the art's by Luca I can't even. I'm not going to attempt to say the last name, but Luca Casalanguida. There we go. So they're the team who did Indigo Children, which I kind of fell off after the second issue. I got this for the cover. I'm a Final Fantasy stan, especially Final Fantasy number 7. That was my first PlayStation game when PlayStation 1 came out, so of course I'm going to get the cover. And it's $4.99, but it's a big, beefy book. Art's nice. Art's really, really nice. Kind of got almost like a... oh, fuck. Michael Lark, by way... Michael Lark, if Michael Lark and Mike Mignola did a comic together, that's kind of like the art style you get. So it's urban fantasy. So basically, the main character was somebody who's raised as a baby by this this leader from not another dimension, but another world, kind of, but within the world, if that makes sense, like this fantasy world. Almost got shades of oh fuck, it's a series. I love a book. It's a series of books. Dresden Files, where you have the fairy realm, which is like in tandem with the normal realm. So the art's lovely, but the story just felt lacking. There's a lot of story in it. There's a lot of lore built up. The lore was great, but there's not enough in it to entice me to think, do I want to read more? But it's okay. But I don't know. It just didn't grab me. If I need, there's so many good comics out there that I've got to be harsh with what I get. Like I said, I'm stopping the Source of Christ events, but as somebody who's a comic reader, I everything's telling me I should be buying that because that's what is the latest flavour. But yeah, and it's the same for this. It just didn't connect on the backup strip. I had not got a fucking clue what it was. It was dull as dish was on the backup strip. It's about what 8 or 9 pages, and it took me ages to read it. I thought, no, I've got to read it. I've got to finish it because I paid for it. But artwork 7 out of 10. Story meh out of 10. Don't want to give it. I wouldn't say it's bad, so I can't give it a rating. But yeah, I'm stopping with issue 1. But I know some people really vibed off it. Brilliant. That's what comics are for. Different tastes for everybody. But yeah, for me, this is where I finish with that. But one that I'm going to carry on with because it's beautiful and a really gorgeous Gary Frank cover. I don't choose my covers when I buy comics. It's just what's ever in my pull box, what they decide to give me. And a lot of the time they get the choices right, and they have with this one. So it's Red Coat number 11. So this introduces um, the Northerner, who looks like he's a time displaced traveller. So he's dressed in the Yankee uniform, but he's got modern, futuristic weapons. And so he basically goes looking for Simon Pure, Redcoats. And that's basically what it is. It's basically setting the groundwork. There's a young girl involved as well. It shows the harsh realities of how bad um, people in the Confederate and other, well, people in America full stop treated people who weren't white, people who were black or Asian, etc. It doesn't, sugarcoat it. I'm sure this will get a lot of people angry from the South, so fuck them. But yeah, it was great. It's a really good. It's a romp. It's a good, but it's a romp for adults. It's really good. It's fun. It's accessible. It's a delight to read. 9 out of 10. Red Coat number 11. Another one that I'm really enjoying. I love the pick off the back with the glasses. Is Bug Wars. This is issue 3. It's a fantasy comic. It doesn't need to explain why the bug people look like people, why they look like Bug from Micronauts. It doesn't need to. You don't need an answer for that. It's just take it for what it is. It's a fantasy comic. I don't read Conan thinking, why is there a bull-headed? Why is there an elephant-headed god? I don't need. I don't need to know. I just accept it for what it is, and that's what. If you do that with this, you'll get so much from it. It gives me the vibe. It's Micronauts by way of Edgar Rice Burroughs, and I'm all for it. I'm a big fan of Edgar Rice Burroughs. I'm a big fan of that kind of fantasy, almost like Sword and Sorcery, but not. It develops the mystery of his dad, how his dad died, and his dad has a strong connection to the bug people, which elaborates. It elaborates on the little emblem he's got embedded in his chest, the young boy, and also how they view his brother as well. It's fun. It's not for kids. People might buy this, but no, it's going to be a cute little sci-fi story. It's not for kids. They're dropping f-bombs, less Rice says, even more than I do, so it must be bad. Um, but the art's a delight. The writing by Jason Aaron. I'm loving Jason Aaron at the moment. I know people are singing the praise of his Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comic. I'll get that in collected edition eventually. But yeah, this is ticking all the boxes for me. 9 out of 10. Do check it out. It's a really good read. Now this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 comics, all from GI Joe. So the first one is the regular Energon Universe one. Apparently, the cover I got, one of my friends was fangirling over it, saying it's some artist D-Chew. I don't know, but it's all right. I didn't like I said, I don't choose the covers, but I adore this comic. It's fun. It's fast paced. To say I was going to drop it after the first issue, and I'm in. I'm in now, and I'm loving the colouring by Jordie Bellaire. I know DC Patrol hates the colouring in this, but for me, it works. I grew up on this type of colouring with European comics, with British comics, with Vertigo, like I think I mentioned before, Ken Hollinsworth, I think it was, who did Hellblazer. He did a similar kind of colour palette, and I think it works. Why should it be normal colouring? Why? I like it when they do stuff like this, like here with where they've got the white figures in the forefronts and then the solid brown background, spots of orange. This as well. For me, it enhances my reading experience. I really enjoy it. I get a lot from the colour palette in this. Um, I don't honestly. I don't think I'd enjoy it as much if it had standard colouring. To be honest, having that kind of indie feel, that kind of European feel, is what draws me to a comic that normally I would overlook. I just really vibe off this whole layout of comics, and there's a good reveal in the final page, which we won't go into. Notice I've not mentioned the plot because I'm enjoying it, but I'm not a G.I. Joe fan at all. I don't know half the people. If I know about 2 people in this, but I'm enjoying the ride. So 8 out of 10, good fun. Talk about good fun. So first of all, we've got the one that started the craze, and this is G.I. Joe 21 Facsimile. This was Larry Hama doing writing and breakdowns, Steve LaHolia, who's a great artist, doing the finishes, and it's the original G.I. Joe 21 from many, many moons ago, which is the first silent issue. It's reproduced on the newsprint, which I'm pleased about, so to do it like DC do with their facsimiles. It was fun. Was it necessary to buy? No, but it gave me a taste of what I would expect from these these 5 issues, which are the silent missions, all done by a different artist, all silent, all wonderful. So the one I think that kicks it off, I got all these like I said all together, so I have no idea what came out first. So I think this kicks it off, which was the Phil Hester one. This was wonderful. To say there's no words in it, it shows what a craftsman, what a master storyteller Phil Hester is. I think this is quite possibly my favourite one. I adore this one. This by Wes Craig, I think was the latest one to come out. Again, really good. Similar palette in colours to Jordi Belair. So there you go. But yeah, really enjoyed. Artwork perfect, story good. One that I didn't expect to like, but actually this might actually think about it, this might be my favourite because it was just warm. I had a feeling of warmth to it. This was the Spirit one by Leonardo Romero. So Spirit's this guy who's got a falcon, I think, and it's very animal centric. This one, so I think that's what made me just go ah. But I really enjoy that. Very satisfactory conclusion again. They've all got really good stories. And this is by Andrew Crank. Again, just a fun adventure featuring Roadblock, kind of like a rescue mission. And the one that everyone is raving about, I think this is my least favourite, to be honest. The artwork's gorgeous, but it's the Danny one, which is focusing on Jinx. It just felt the slightest one in story. If that makes sense for a silent comic. But still very nice. I'm pleased I got all of them. Very satisfactory. Yeah, they were a blast. 9 out of 10 for the whole concept. 9 out of 10 for the stories themselves. Wonderful. And you're not going to believe this. I have. This is crazy. I've not even reached DC. This is my DC pile. But now we're doing my Marvel pile. I have 5 Marvel comics. 5. I think this could be a record for the past few years for me. First off, this was the comic I read straight away when I got it. Red Hulk by Benjamin Percy and Jeff Shaw. I adore this comic. I mean, look at it. Come on. Deathlock, Machine Man. Red Hulk, not got a clue who he was until I saw this comic, and I'm enjoying it. He writes and draws him. It's Sam Elliott with Art Tash. So when I'm reading it, I've got that Sam Elliott kind of voice going on as I'm hearing his voice in my head. This is a really solid adventure. It's great. It's my favourite Marvel comic by far. It makes good use of the New World Under Doom, which I'm not following at all, but you don't need to. But the scenario where they're trying to escape from Latveria, um, is so much fun. It's just fantastic. It's only 3 issues out, so you can easily get it, and it's only $3.99, and it's a solid 9 out of 10. One which I got, which was pure impulse buy because that cover is gorgeous. I like Arthur Adams doing Godzilla. This isn't Arthur Adams, but it's the next best thing. It's the Arthur Adams clone, which is Nick Bradshaw. And it was a pure art buy. The art is fantastic. The story, not got a clue. Didn't really I kind of like speed read the story. I was just like focusing on the art, to be honest. I don't do that very often, but this is good monster art. It's gorgeous. It's a beautiful, beautiful comic. So for the experience, 9 out of 10. Arts and experience for the story. Not got a clue. So there we go. And then we have another Spider-Man crossover, and again, it's another one by Benjamin Percy with art by Marcelo Ferreira. This I've now put on my pull list. I just didn't want to buy it until I had a look through. And this is Predator versus Spider-Man #1. It's $5.99, but it is quite a chunky comic. This isn't red band. I'll repeat, this isn't red band, and yet Marvel just classifies this as parental advisory. But Wolverine Revenge, he just has a little bit of blood on his cheek and it becomes a red band. But this is great. It shouldn't work. It should not work. But this is a hard-hitting, noirish sci-fi thriller horror with a really unique take on the Predator interaction with the Marvel Universe. It does not shy from the gratuitous violence, and yet when it features Peter Parker Spider Man, he has the tone of Spider Man down pat as well, and MJ. It's obviously slightly in the past looking at it, but it's very satisfactory. Leaves on a cliffhanger that I can't wait to see resolved next issue. And yeah, really enjoying it. 9 out of 10. Do buy this comic. Very, very good. Quite possibly, if there wasn't Red Hulk, this would be my Marvel pick of the week. But I'm loving Red Hulk. But Marvel's doing good this week. I will say that for them, even though it's my smallest power. And not week, but it's like they're doing good for the past 3 weeks. I don't know when any of these came out. So we have Amazing Spider-Man #2 by Kelly and Pepe Larraz, Joe Kelly and Pepe Larraz. Again, having a blast. I like Spider-Man. I love Spider-Man, but I've not enjoyed the recent Spider-Man comics because they've just been fucking awful. It's like they've just been written by committee. But this is strong. Joe Kelly is a good writer. He's a very good writer. And the art by Pepe Larraz is fun. The mystery is great. I love the dynamics between between Peter and Norman Osborn. Really, really cool. It's great. It's a wonderful comic. 9 out of 10. Wonderful cover as well. Another one which is fun, Rob. Another Benjamin Percy one, of course. Deadpool Wolverine, issue 4 by Benjamin Percy and Joshua Cassara. Artwork is gorgeous. Nice bit of zombie blasting there. It's just again, this is Benjamin Percy lighting up one of his stogies, having a whiskey, just having fun, writing a silly adventure comic. It is silly. It's daft as a brush, but it's great fun. I'm really enjoying it. 8 out of 10. So next up, we move on to DC, and we will start with the Absolute Comics. So the first one is Absolute Batman. I know Gikyo Hog ranted for ages. I thought he's going to have a stroke. He's ranting that much about it, but this is Absolute Batman #7. And one thing that really annoyed him was the art by Marcus Martin. Marcus Martin did a series of comics. What was it called? December or Friday or something with Ed Brubaker. I love his art style. He's like um, he's like a weird blend of Javier Rodriguez and Tim Sale. And yeah, it's way different from the regular art. It's way different than Nick Dragotta, but so what? I don't want somebody just to ape the artists that they're standing in for. The layouts are great. I love the color palette. I had a blast. I'd be quite happy if he took over from Nick Dragotta. I know, blasphemy, and I adore Nick Dragotta, but I had so much fun with this. I loved how he did the characters. I love the indie vibe to the artwork. Everything about it just worked for me. This splash page was gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. The palettes of the colors, and just like that picture of Batman just go. flying through the city like that, just wonderful. And the dynamic layouts of the page there. This was a treat. I love this horror version of Freeze. Oh, it was just absolutely great. So yeah, I'll give this a solid 9 out of 10. One Next one will be Absolute Wonder Woman, again with the fill-in artist of Mattia de Ulis and Kelly Thompson writing. So this is the end of the two-part story where she's in hell, basically having a wrestling match, and it's wonderful. It's just great. Satisfactory conclusion, and I can't wait for Hayden and Sherman to come back on. But this was a nice digression, and yeah, 9 out of 10, really fun. And then one that I was on the fence about, but after reading this, I'm all in. Absolute Flash #2 by Jeff Lemire, Nick Robles. Beautiful, gorgeous, clean art, colouring that ties in perfectly with the line work. This is Flash with a sci-fi vibe, and I'm all for it. Really enjoying it. I love the dynamic. I love how they've introduced how they've managed to make Flash very, very different from DC One. But they managed to introduce Barry in a way where he's still got like the mentor flavour with his relationship with Wally. Oh yeah, it's just great. And the twist at the end for Gorilla Grodd, fantastic, wonderful. Yeah, 9 out of 10, all in, invested. And Absolute Marshmallow Hunter elevates the game again from issue 1. It makes a bit more sense this time. Weird as shit. Let's see what I'm saying. This is Dennis Culver who does Exorcist Crisis events, but this is Dennis Culver which is an enjoyable Dennis Culver. And the artwork by Javier Rodriguez is just gorgeous. The layouts, the panel works where he does images within images, just genius. Colours are gorgeous, very trippy. If I was on drugs, I'd most likely enjoy it even more, but I'm not, and I don't condone that. But yeah, fantastic, wonderful, weird detective sci-fi mashup. 10 out of 10, perfect comic. I was going to stop this comic. Basic reason being, I just feeling a bit superhero bloated, but this pulled me back in. And it's not bad by any means. It's a good comic. It's written by Jeremy Adams, art by Zermanico, who's one of my favourite recent artists. And it's Green Lantern 22. And do you know what brought me in? What sealed the deal that I need to carry on? Yeah. Gnots! I am a huge fan of Gnots, so I'm all in. This was fun. 9 out of 10. Talking about fun reads, DC versus Vampires World War V, and this is issue #8. Chunky comic as per usual. You get a backup strip and full story in the front, and it's the usual team on the main story of Matthew Rosenberg and Otto Schmidt on the artwork. The artwork is a delight. The colouring is great as well by Pierluigi Castellina. Then there's a backup strip focusing on Wildcat. This brings the New Gods into full flavour into the universe of DC versus Vampires. And it's crazy as shit, but it's wonderful for us as well. Great action scenes, perfect mesh up. It's horror without being too horrific. It's fun. It's got the horror vibe of a 70s horror comic from Marvel, which is cool, which is fantastic. And the backup is a good character study by Shane McCarthy and artwork by Fabio Veras on Wildcat, with very tragic undertones as well. Just a wonderful, wonderful comic. 9 out of 10. Another wonderful comic, which is great. I mean, I've only had one dud, 2 duds. I've only had 2 duds, so that's not bad out of this massive pile. But another wonderful comic is Green Arrow 23. So this continuing the story since Chris Condon came on about the eco-terrorists who are targeting these businessmen who, because they've been polluting the waters, etc. And Green Arrow is caught in the middle of it. The artwork by Montos is just absolutely beautiful. And the pacing by Chris Condon is wonderful. This is what I want from a Green Arrow comic. I did not like the Joshua Williamson one. It was just too cutesy. Green Arrow shouldn't be cutesy. It's not a Silver Age character. It's modern day. I like my micro vigilante Green Arrow, and this is what you get here. With your bleeding heart, liberal sensibilities as well. Just great stuff. Very satisfactory read. I think this story arc, concludes next issue. Yeah, I do. Not been buying it. Wait for the trade and do buy it. It's really good. And yeah, so issue 23, Green Arrow, 8.5 out of 10. Okay, now this final bit is my Batman stack. So there's 5 issues. So we will start with my least favourites, and this is the annual Annual Detective Comics, written by Al Ewing, art by Fialkov, Raphael, McRae, and then there's a backup strip as well by Joshua Hill, Falkov, and art by Mike Norton, who did the Image comic about a warrior pug or something. But anyway, the art in it is great. Batman goes to England. It feels like it's written in the 1970s, to be honest. I don't know. It feels like a step back, to be brutally honest. Al Ewing's got this weird thing at the moment, past few years, where everything's got to be, look how funny I am. No, stop it. He's done it with Metamorpho, where he's done it with Venom, he's done it with Thor, and it was winding me up. I don't like writers who think that they're clever. Alan Moore's very clever, but he puts that into the story. Being clever doesn't mean having to keep on saying wink, wink, wink on each page, or like Susie's way, they're drinking tea. Yeah, we get it. It's the English cliche. It's average, 6 out of 10. Next up, we have Batman the Log Halloween, Last Halloween, issue 7. This progresses the story nicely. The artwork by Dave Johnson, it's really nice, very good. I wouldn't say it's my favourite one who's done the comic. I'd say it's one of the weaker issues of art. Um, I don't know. It just some artists just gel more with than others, and this one just doesn't gel with me by as much. But it's great art. I mean, we're comparing people like at the top tier of the industry. So just because it doesn't gel as much as some of the others doesn't mean it's bad by far from it. And the use of colours is really really good, very dynamic. So this really cements the connection between Dick Grayson and Bruce, with this ongoing noirish thriller, which is, like I said, it brings some of the threads from previous Long Halloween stories. Really satisfactory. It's just a nice, really wonderful love letter to the impact that Tim Sale had on the industry, especially on the Batman universe, and 8 out of 10. Now, this one is getting a lot of heat with people hating on it, saying, oh, so old fashioned, it's so clunky. And we'll talk about Batman Hush 2. This is 159 by Jim Lee, Jeff Loeb, Scott Williams. Second. And Alex Sinclair. So this is the sequel to Hush from 20 years ago. The art's fine. To be honest, I prefer Jim Lee when he's a bit looser. I don't like how Scott Williams tightens him up so much with the inking. I think Scott Williams' inking makes his art appear much more static than it should be. But it's just a minor gripe. Because it becomes very relevant when you see like his sketch ones, which are just coloured over in the pages of here, like the flashbacks. But that's just personal preference. The story is very dated. It is. If this was a Marvel comic, this is like the vanity projects, what they do for Chris Claremont with these X-Men titles set in the 80s or whatever, or what they gave for James DeMatteis with Spider-Man, where they don't trust them enough for some reason to do a modern day comic. and that's what you get with this a bit. So the writing is kind of dated, but I'm enjoying it. It's a 7 out of 10. It's not. It's quite possibly the weakest Batman comic on the stands at the moment, but it's fun. It's system. Its system isn't nostalgia buttons, but it isn't necessary. I'd wish they'd have done a different thing with Batman or a different character with Jim Lee. Um, I don't know. Hush didn't need a sequel. I don't think Hush was great to start with, but I'm a Jim Lee fan, so that's why I bought it. So there we go. And then we have Detective Comics with that wonderful cover. So by the team of Tom Taylor and Michael Janin, gorgeous artwork. So it delves more into the relationships between the antagonist and Bruce, because they go back years. And I like how Tom Taylor, instead of what people normally do, where they just flash back to the scene where you see the pearls on the floor, his parents on dead. Instead, he develops more the lore between Joe Chill and his side of the story, and it's really good, really satisfactory mystery. Notice I'm not really giving much of the plot away because I don't want to. You need to read this for yourself. I can't really show much because it does give a lot of spoilers. But yeah, I'm loving the run by Tom Taylor. Really completely poles apart different to what Ram V was doing with Detective Comics. So that's what I want. I want something different. I don't want somebody trying to ape what the previous writer has done. It's a good, fresh, modern take on Batman. Solid detective comic. Yeah, 9 out of 10. And then we have the best Batman comic for the week, and this is Batman Dark Patterns #5 by Dan Watters and Hayden Sherman. It's part 2 of the story, The Voice of the Tower, which is where Scarface, the puppet, has basically taken the whole block, a whole building over. So it's, as other people have said, it's like the raid. But the artwork by Hayden Sherman, the layouts, he's quite possibly the most adventurous artist. Sorry, they're quite possibly the most adventurous artist in the industry at the moment, and it's a delight to see their work, their panel layouts, the risks that they take with composition, and it's got a wonderful twist at the end about who is controlling, or who Scarface the puppet is controlling now. Wonderful, wonderful reveal. I did not see that coming. I will admit, this sign of good writing when they can really throw you off the scent, which is what they did in a very masterful way here. It's a perfect comic, 10 out of 10. So that only took nearly 50 minutes. So that's my review for comics from the past 3 weeks. I will be doing another video. I don't know when because I've got to finish reading it on heavy metal. But later on, I'll be doing another video looking at books because it's been Free Comic Book Week. I've not picked up. I didn't do Free Comic Book, but I did go in to my shops to support them, and I bought 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 7 graphic novels. So I'll be showing what I've got, and some of those I'll be doing reviews of when I've read them. Okay, so bye. Bye.